So, I had a question for Lily, which is something I wondered from the beginning, but definitely something I wasn't comfortable asking. And it was about the authenticity of the information she knows about where she was born and her birth date and things like that. Which I think since I had thought of that question, you kind of learned a little more about it. I always wanted to ask you, how did it feel celebrating your birthday when you weren't 100% sure what day you were born?
So, birthdays to me are more emotional just because you are acknowledging that you were born to someone else and you're with an adoptive family now. And so even if your adoptive family is as loving as mine is, there's still the thoughts in your mind that, hey, on this day, X amount of years ago, I was with my biological family and I have no idea who they are. But as far as not knowing the accuracy of your birthday, for mine, I think it's pretty close to October 15th, which is what I was told, because my adoption records say that I was found when I was no more than a day old. And unless I was just a really small child, I don't think it's like a month or anything off. But even still, I don't think I really care. I always thought it was kind of odd when people get really specific about birthdays, especially when it's like, oh, well, it's not my birthday until like 4 p.m. And I'm like, what? Okay, sure. So, I mean, birthdays to me, I get why you're celebrating someone, but I'm also like, you're showering them with presents and stuff, and they've literally done nothing. They're existing. So maybe I'm just cynical about birthdays, but I don't think that's because of adoption. I think that's just because I value what you do in life, not just what's given to you. So the accuracy of the birthday thing really doesn't bother me. If my birthday's a few days off, even a few weeks off, okay, what matters is that I'm here and I'm alive, not that I'm celebrating the day I was born on the specific day at the specific time and that kind of thing.
So going back to your 23andMe results, how did you feel learning new information, just kind of generally, not necessarily just about your ancestry and how you were, you're part Chinese, part just Southeast Asian, I think is what you said the results said.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about learning new information?
Awesome. I think it's really cool because in my experience, it's very rare for someone to be 100% one ethnicity, and I could never tell anybody else what I was other than Chinese. And so I actually haven't updated you guys yet, and I'll probably do a longer video on this later, but I uploaded my data to another database, and I am closer to 80% Chinese, and then I have about 8% Vietnamese, and then I also have Cambodian, Thai, and Indian in decreasing percentages after that. And so, I mean, it makes sense logically because just of the geographic location of where I was born. But it is cool getting to know a little bit more about my background because, I mean, really, who nowadays is literally just one ethnicity? No one, pretty much. The fact that we don't know accurate birthdays and whatnot isn't our choice, and I don't think it's the birth mother's choice either. It's a result of adoption, and specific to Chinese adoption, it's a result of government policies. So I don't think coping is what you're supposed to do. I think you can acknowledge it without needing to cope with it, but it does need to be acknowledged. It shouldn't be something that you are suddenly okay with, because I think knowing an accurate birthday is a right that many of us aren't given.
Does that outlook extend beyond, just your birthday to other information that you've received around, concerning your birth and your adoption?
Of course. I mean, if something involves me, I have a right to know about it. But the circumstances with adoption usually don't allow for that. And now, well, even younger adoptees, they ask their adoptive parents about details concerning their background, and no one can answer. And it's either because records are sealed and you're never allowed to have access to it, or because the information was never given anywhere. And so I think that's a huge issue that a lot of adoptees are trying to work through, is just the fact that a lot of the information concerning us, we don't have a right to.
Has your opinion on the information available to adoptees and the accuracy of that information, has your opinion on that changed as you've gotten older?
Yes, and personally it's because my adoptive life has been incredible. I really have zero complaints about it. But now that I'm getting older and I'm more curious about my background, I do think that it's wrong that we don't have access to this information, either because, like I said, records are sealed and you aren't given the access, or the information was never obtained to begin with. And that's either because there was corruption going on, or because of the legal ramifications for abandoning a child and mothers were afraid. So, I mean, some adoptees that I talked to were lucky enough to be found with a note from the birth mother that gave some information, but I wasn't given that at all either. So, and that's not to say I'm blaming my birth mom for not leaving a note or anything. It's just that I think it sucks how the adoption environment, at least for Chinese adoptions, didn't allow a safe place for this information to be given. So that was the video for today. Thank you, Adam, for asking those questions, because I don't know if a lot of people think about how birthdays and the accuracy of birthdays can affect adoptees. It's definitely a weird thing to have to deal with, and I'm still not 100% certain about how I feel. So it's good to acknowledge it and to let other people know. As always, videos Wednesdays, 4 p.m., and probably every single day also, because that's pretty much what I've been doing. Almost every day there's a video. There's the subscribe button on your bottom right screen, and then my face pops up right above it, and you can subscribe there, and then you won't have to be notified. Wait, no. Then you won't have to check that there's a video, and you'll just be notified that there's a video. You should definitely keep your eye on the description and read it, because sometimes I have clarifications in there, corrections to things that I got wrong, and that's where you can ask me questions. So thanks for watching, and I will probably be seeing you tomorrow.